this a bit better? You see, my good old headphones have broken, so now I'm using my earphones, which have, like, you know, the earphone mic. So I think that now it's picking up, it's now using the earphone mic to record everything. Oh boy. What? Oh no. Well, that's another reason to get my headphone replaced. Oops, that's gonna be a bit of a problem. Wait, I think I might be able to. Let me see what I can do with the settings. Okay, let me just save. I guess one good thing about this is I guess you can't hear the keyboard that much, but on the other hand you can't hear much at all. Oh, I'm sorry, I just blew into the mic. That probably wasn't good. Device. Okay, let's see. Alright, okay, I'm gonna have to. Okay, let's test this out. Let's test. Okay, I think that's back to my. Okay, yeah, so I just managed to change the input thing. Alright, we all good? We all Gucci? Okay, cool. Now you get to hear the mashing of my keys. Okay, yeah, sorry for that sudden tap, I just wanted to make sure. Alright. Good, now I know. Anyway, time to go get money. Yeah, I guess the fun part probably wasn't like heard or recorded, I guess. We started the stream late because, I mean, if you see in the server or on Twitter, you can see I just finished art, so yeah, that's why I started later.
She was busy with her art.
Yeah. So, first week of uni done. Woohoo! I'm in this an experience. It's just thanks. Because I've never really like I've been self-taught my art and animation like my whole life, so so yeah, a lot of the stuff in like the classes are new. So I have I think 4 classes. There is oh wait, I just realized I didn't use the lean. I didn't get all the money. It's fine. Back to grinding. Yeah, so I think I have 5 classes. There's animation basics, language of drawing, art history, storytelling, and color tone composition. Yep. For animation basics, we're just doing even though the course is, you know, digital art and animation, everything is all traditional right now. Well, I thought it was fun, but I mean, it is fun to an extent, but it's just also very, like, as Bo Burnham would say, a little bit of everything all of the time, except it's not a little bit, it's kind of a decent amount of stuff, but it's multiple, so kind of overwhelming, but I'm sure I'll get used to it. So animation basics, we're doing traditional. So the first assignment, we got it on like the first day. The first assignment is to make
drawing a pendulum.
Yeah, making a pendulum swing like side to side in a loop on paper. Which, you know, it was fun. It was pretty cool because, you know, we get to use the light box and stuff. But then, you know, it's traditional animation is definitely more like if you mess up, it costs trees and a bit more effort to redo it or fix a little thing. You can't just, like, if your pendulum is just a little bit too much to the left, that you can't just select and shift it, so you have to redraw it, and the teacher is very particular about stuff being proportionate and not wobbly and stuff. And I don't know about you, I don't draw perfect circles very well, so it is traditional animation is even painer. Like, I've done some like traditional animations on like paper before, just for fun, but you know, not like this. Yep. And you have to do like drafts on different paper and stuff. And also the software we're using is the software, it's called Digicel Flipbook. It's so outdated. The undo button doesn't work, and you like the copying and pasting something, it is such a pain because you don't know if the software will just give up on life and render your entire project useless, or just like make you stuck in this thing that you don't understand how to get it out of. So it's just easier to rescan everything manually again in a new project than to try to fix the It is a pain. And my teacher did not teach us much. He kinda just like, okay, do thing, bye bye. I will not tell you how to submit the thing, what you need to submit. I will leave out the details that if you missed out on, you would have drops in your grade. Yeah. So I've gone to school early on like one of the days to kind of get the rest done in the lab, in the room, and I literally spent like 2 hours trying to fiddle with the software and try to find how to submit. And if it wasn't for a senior, I would have been very, very lost and probably not gotten it. It's so so traditional animation, fun? Yes, maybe. put a deadline on it and use the cruddiest software. Not fun. Like honestly, when I did my paper animation, like for fun, I just took a picture and then I put it on Flipperclip, and that was way easier to just put into a timeline than than Digicel Flipbook. Oh, I am not paying attention. Who's faster? I don't think I'm faster. I'll just move. I'll just switch out. Safer that way. And we have to do something called a dope sheet. They didn't teach us how to fill up a dope sheet. There's a guide, yes, but like, you know, a little bit of guidance would have been nice. That is not a printed PDF, that is about a completely different kind of thing, so there's still questions about certain parts. Yeah. Now we have to go here. So yeah, that is animation basics. I'm sure like it's kind of like, just because it's my first time and I don't know anything, it's gonna be hard. I mean, okay, yeah, traditional animation is hard, but right now the hardest part is not the animation itself, but just the software and like all technical problems basically. Just don't know how to. But once I learn, I think the rest I can actually focus on the animation more. Yeah, this is gonna just be mostly grinding, so it's just gonna be chatting most of the time, I guess. Storytelling is fun. Like, it's interesting. We're learning like story structures, and we're gonna learn how to write stories that are engaging and blah de blah blah. Very useful. You know, I would have no quarrels with it. It might have been my favorite class, but all the assignments are like oral presentations, and as an introvert, that is that's yeah. I mean, again, I'll get over it. It's just yeah. I'll get over it. I just have to get back into the gist of it. But like, you know, it doesn't. It's kind of yeah. Yeah, that's all I'll say for storytelling. And so far, I don't not have enough to fully taste what it's gonna be like. But like, I mean, you know, learning how to do stories is good. And from the slides that I went through for it was like there was something like there are 8 principles in stories. It's like was it write about archetypes and not stereotypes. That's one. Another is like I don't know, it is so hard to remember because they're kind of wordy. What's the other? It's like write about universal concepts but not formulas. Like how your protagonist being an orphan who was like, I don't know, like adopted or had to live with like relatives who are not very nice to that is a universal concept. But if you follow like another story that's like like I guess Cinderella, like it's not really like, okay, no, that's a stepmom. I mean, yeah, kind of, I guess. Her real parents is.
Are they dead?
Are they? Oh wait, I'm so confused. Okay, better. Okay, just say like if there is a story already that like, orphan kid whose parents suck, and then kid gets powers, and then certain kind of events happen. You don't have like if you write about the story, you don't have to follow the exact formula, or you should try to avoid writing about the exact formula.
Otherwise,
at least
it would have been kind of cliche.
Yeah, that's you try. The point is, you don't think, oh, I have to write, if I write about this, I have to write it in this specific like formula for it to be good or for it to work. No, you write about universal concepts, but you don't follow the formulas. You just yeah. Yeah, this oh, okay, so Cinderella, yeah, so it's like if you followed the story of Cinderella, like plot point for plot point, like just changing the details and stuff, you don't really have a good story. But a good story is like, oh, you have the same scenario but something different happens, or a different twist on it. That's yeah. And it was like, go for originality, not duplication. Yeah, that follows the same thing. You don't like, I don't think they say outright originality, but they will definitely like, don't duplicate what you see, but try to like, you know, put a spin on it, improve it, adapt it to your own, but not like, okay, I don't want to I don't want to call out a certain webtoon that I've read, but there is a webtoon that I read like a few years ago, and you know, it looked interesting, like the cover art and stuff, but then when I opened it, I was kind of it was not the same. I don't know if it was just rendering stuff, but that's not the point. Anyway, I opened it, so I was like, okay, you know, I'll just give it a try. I'll see how the story is. And the story was, in some cases, exactly word for word the plot of Undertale. And not even just the plot of Undertale, the exact framing of the game of Undertale. And like the pictures used, like, you know, like how long ago monsters and humans, blah blah blah. Yeah, they copied the exact same like kind of art style, like that thing, and the exact wording. It wouldn't have bothered me if they had said like, oh, it's like well, I mean, no, that is a being inspired by Undertale, or like if they said it was like an AU, okay, but like if they were like, oh no, this is like inspired, there, you still can't, there is a certain okay, so some parts it was definitely like a bit of difference, but like the characters, you can tell who they are, the human, the monsters, Toriel, you know, it was the exact same character. And then when it reached the, you know, the heartache scene, where like the end of the demo, one would say, it's like when Toriel doesn't want you to leave but you try to leave. I think when I read it, I believe that it was, the dialogue was word for word exactly what was in that scene, because all the words, it was like deja vu. So yeah, don't do that.
Is this a webcomic adaptation of Undertale?
No, it's someone like just. I get like you can be inspired, but please don't copy exact scenes. That's bad. That it's basically a rip-off. It's like those those it's like those Among Us. It's like those Among Us rip-offs. They just change the sprite of the crewmates. It's you can tell when something's inspired and when something's trying to, you know, rip off and cash in on that, and not trying to put in the effort to come up with its own ideas. Okay, there is a rip-off of like Among Us that honestly it has, and it's not like, okay, you can obviously tell it was very much based off Among Us, but it did at least try to put in its own ideas. I don't remember the name of it, but at least they tried to implement some original ideas, some. But yeah, this webcomic was a ripoff, and that's not good. I was honestly surprised that all the comments were completely positive, and I mean, I'm not saying that I wanted them to get hate or anything. I'm just very surprised that nobody recognized, I guess, and called them out for the blatant plagiarism. But yeah, I don't think it's updated quite a lot. And that, like, I can understand because, you know, when I'm young or like even now, like sometimes some stories just seem to click and you're like, oh, you know, if I put this kind of character in, that would fit so well in this scene. But you can't, like, if you do that, then you have to say it's an AU or something, because like, you need to understand at what point is it you putting your you modding someone else's story and you getting inspired by someone else's story and making your own thing. Yeah, like my Atlan region, I'm not like copying the exact stories or whatever from, I'm using what is in what I've seen from, you know, the franchise and the fandom, and I'm making my own thing with it. Of course, like the mechanics and stuff, I yeah, it's from the game. That's why it's called, you know, we put it under that list, that category of Pokemon. Yeah. I hope they learn. I mean, I'm not gonna call them out for it. As I'm not gonna be on their comment page and being like, hey, you stole this from Undertale or whatever. I don't want to be the one to I just hope that they don't need someone to pressure them and for them to realize on their own, so that there's like, they don't feel harassed or attacked or anything. I just want them to be able to come to their own realization of what they're doing and maybe, you know, rewrite their their whole yeah, or they can, yeah, just admit to what it is, I guess. But yeah, storytelling is really interesting because again, I'm gonna call out, I guess, not call out another webtoon. I'm not trying to, like, I'm just I'm not trying to, like, insult anyone. I'm not.
She's attempting to not harass anyone.
Yeah, I'm not harassing. I just see stuff and I'm like, don't do this. I'm not saying you suck or whatever. I'm just saying, please learn from your mistakes. Don't do this. It's not good. But yeah, I think I can talk about this one because they have recognized their problem like twice and they're gonna redo it again. So good luck with them for that. Before I always think about having seen that. Yeah, I mean, I was called out for stealing the concept of a blue dragon from someone, which is dumb because nobody, like, no singular person owns dragons or the color blue. You can't. Yeah, there's some things that just it's free real estate. It's a free real estate. Nobody has a say to it. Nobody has a claim to it. Even with horns, like, or wings, or tail designs, like, people, nothing, to an extent, nothing is original, because at some point things become, like, something had to start somewhere, and it had to be distributed. Yeah. The thing is, I don't think, like, there are a lot of non-artists and artists out there. I don't know about the artists, but I feel for the non-artists that they don't understand what it feels like when you have your character compared to someone else's character for some minute similarity that they perceive. To them, they might think, oh yeah, I'm just telling them what it reminds me of, because, fun facts and stuff. But, to the artist, it might feel like you're implying that they're copying or invalidating their ideas. So, yeah, it's sad. When I drew my my Minecraft gas redesign, ooh, my friend was like, oh, put it on Reddit, it'll be fine. And I'm like, okay. And it was not fine. Like, the people who are like, oh, it reminds me of Doom, it looks like a creature from Doom. I'm like, I don't know Doom, but okay, because the way they phrase it is like, it looks like a creature from Doom, as in, like, it looks like it belongs in the style of Doom. Again, I don't know Doom, but like that, the phrasing of that is better than, oh, this is just what was it called? The Ichor Stickler from Terraria. And I'm like, I do not know what an Ichor Stickler is, and I barely know Terraria. And I thought, okay, you know what, that's just like a few people. And nope, the next day there's just like hundreds of people like, oh, you just stole, oh, it's just the Ichor Stickler, blah 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 blah. And I was like, okay, you know what, fine, I'm gonna search up this Ichor Stickler. And I did, and it's just a tick. And the thing is, so my ghast was designed off a tick, a real life animal. And so was the Ichor Stickler. And so, yeah, it's just that the whole thing, like, if I have a stickman character, like, okay, if I have Leaf, and then you have another person who has a stickman character who is, like, completely, like, designed different, I mean, other than the fact that they're stickmen, and you say, oh, you just it looks exactly like this thing, or it's like that thing from other person, just because they're both based on stick figures, that just sucks. Yeah. I feel like most people who say that, they don't, okay, I mean, some of them are just like, oh wow, it's just a rip-off. Okay, yeah, those people are trying to downplay your efforts, but I feel like there's quite a big portion of people who are not artists, or maybe just some artists, but they don't realize what their actions and what their words mean to the artist they're talking about in their work. I feel like it's out of a place of ignorance than intent to hurt them, which, I mean, doesn't make it better, but it's still kind of sad. I think we need to, like, I wish, like, people would learn. I guess it's kind of like the whole, like, oh, why do you take so long to make this animation? You just draw and it's done in 5 minutes. It's like, not everybody gets it, but they really have to learn so that they stop hurting people with their ignorance. yeah, I think for drawing, like adding wings, horns, a specific design of tail, it's fine to take, like, as long as you don't outright copy. Like you can, I mean, of course, if someone drew horns a certain way and you're like, oh, that's really cool, I like the way they draw horns, there's nothing stopping you from drawing those horns. But it's completely different if your character is the exact near copy of theirs, and I mean maybe recolored or just give or take a few features or whatever. Yeah, I mean, even back then I also had to go through it, and it kind of sucked. And there's always this okay, so I'm gonna call back to like when I was like way younger. At the start of YouTube, I made the Blue Warrior animations and stuff. Blue Warrior, Green Warrior, blah 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 blah.
The Warriors
like
of the
on
Crystal?
yeah, on YouTube, like on YouTube, sure, it looked like I just like I did state that Nerogeese did help inspire how I drew, how I designed, because back then I was mostly focusing on writing. I mostly wrote. I did draw, but most of my efforts were on writing, and I didn't always draw out the characters or like finalize on the designs first before I wrote about them or planned for them in stories. So I already had the Warriors of the Crystal planned, and I didn't yet know how to implement them into the story that I was writing, which was, I forget what it was called, Guardian something, blah blah blah. But when I saw Nerogeese's The Guardian animation, it was like, oh yeah, that's the kind of like it's like, oh yeah, that's the kind of art style, and like that art's the blocky art style. It intrigued me, and I was like, oh, that must be like much easier to animate than like when all the limbs are all weird and like round and stuff. So I was like, okay, cool. If I knew that my characters were like made of like crystal and stuff, but very simplified. So I was like, okay, if I just use the same kind of like hands and stuff for that I saw from Nerogeese's work, if I use that style, it would have made it like easier for me to animate. So yeah, the style that I used for them, which shows in like the design and stuff, it's inspired by Nerogeese, but their story was not. But yeah, I'm lucky nobody really attacked me over it, and I definitely knew that like because I was inspired, like my art style was inspired by, you know, Nerogeese, people would definitely say it was a ripoff, and that was scary. Which, yeah, I mean, I've seen like multiple artists and stuff, and everybody definitely, when we're young and starting out, we even just like anyone, when you first start drawing, your art style is it's usually someone else's. You see something you like and you replicate what you see. Hi, Hollow. Sorry I didn't acknowledge you earlier. But yeah, art styles. Everybody's art style will start off looking like well, either they look like your drawings from when you were a toddler, or they start looking like an art style that you commonly see and you like. And that's fine. You don't have to have like a unique art. Like I heard there was like this whole controversy over like art style theft. You can't steal an art style. I mean, you can. I mean, like in the most like lightest of light-hearted ways of saying it, yeah, you can technically steal, but it's not really stealing. We are just amoebas infusing genetic data into our bodies. You're little viruses stealing DNA. Like at the end of the day, your art style is a mishmash mutation of what you like and what you see. And I think people need to stop shaming people for that, especially when they're young, especially young artists. They're already like, they really don't know much and they're just trying to explore. Don't push them down or make them feel bad for when they're in the midst of discovering their own art identity. Yes, because I mean, it's like, you know, it's like humans. It's like in everything. For someone to have a unique spin on something, they have to learn, like, they had to have a template, a base. You can't draw humans like in your own style if you didn't learn how to draw a human in general. I hope it's helpful and interesting. So yeah, what I say is just let young artists learn. I mean, of course, tell them if they are, you know, copying someone's entire story or ripping off someone's entire character. Like, you can lightly tell them, but don't scold them or be like, wow, you're a horrible person for blah 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 blah. Like, they just need guidance. They're like kids. Like, kids will do dumb stuff. They're new to the world, and it's our job to like lead them on the path that they have to go. They're babes, yeah, they're babies. Us, like, if we have the experience and we know better, then it's our job to educate them and like teach them and guide them. Like, hey, don't touch that. It's hot. It will burn you. If they mess up, it's fine. Don't make a big deal out of it. Just tell them and help them see their mistakes so they can change it. I think there's a lot of, like, when people try to simplify the common rules or whatever, like how everybody basically has it hammered into their brain, like, no tracing is bad, that's stealing people's art. They fail to it's kind of like, okay, yeah, if you're in the community for like quite a while, or you know, you've reached a certain age and you know enough to be like, yeah, I definitely, if you trace someone's like work and then you post it as your own, that's bad. But to a child, they might think, oh, if I ever outline someone else's thing, like a work that is not made by me, that is bad and I'm a bad person, or that is just like a no-no. That's wrong, because we need, like, part of like studying art and stuff involves tracing. That's part of practice, but it's not part of like you saying it's your own work. So while we do try to like give newcomers and just like the community in general, when we try to give them rules, we try to tell them, okay, this is what you can do, this is what you shouldn't do, we still have to realize that even when because it's simplified, the fine print is nowhere to be checked. it's like it's like my teacher giving the assignment. He gave the vague, like, okay, yeah, that's the big idea, but all these little nitty gritty details of like how to do the littlest things that make up the big whole is left unanswered. Yeah, vague CNC is bad. I mean, like the saying goes, if you have nothing good to say, then don't say it. Or you can say, like, I feel like your art doesn't look like, or like you can say like, I like your art, it looks great, but I feel like it could have more expression in the body language or the expression. I feel that would bring more life to your character. Maybe try try out different poses next time, you know, maybe try more dynamic poses. I think that would really bring more life to your character and give it more you know, like stuff like that. That is pointing the artist into a direction of where they can go. It's not telling them like, okay, your art, it just, you know, you did a big oopsie, no coming back from it, get better, noob. you need to constructive criticism is not just, wow, that looks bad, just get better. You have to tell someone how to get better, or at least point them in the right direction. Like, okay, like maybe, you know, you're not that good at in art yourself, but you like, some people argue, oh, if you're not an artist, you can't criticize. That's wrong, because we have eyes and we know what we like. It's just that artists will be able to have more practical knowledge or like experience, so they can give a bit more detailed advice. But anyone can give constructive criticism. Anyone with eyes, I mean, okay, anyone can give constructive criticism, but not all constructive criticism is good or applies to you, and you have to learn to like weed it out, because sometimes someone just has a certain preference, like, oh, I actually prefer it to see characters who are animals. So if you're talking about, you know, I would like it if like if your art's cool and all, but like I feel it would look better if like instead of normal human ears, they had like more elf-like ears, like cat ears, or like, oh, you know, it looks like it needs to be more fluffy and stuff. Like, you gotta learn to pick and choose, to pick out what is good criticism that applies to you. Like, you don't take if someone draws a lot of, like, someone who is really into like horror art and stuff, you don't take their advice when you're trying to draw something cute. I mean, okay, yeah, maybe they might give you good advice on like cute drawings, but if they're trying to lead you towards like a result that's not what you're going for, then, you know, don't use it. Doesn't mean that advice is bad, it's just not fitting to what you want to do. Sometimes, like, yeah, so if the person doesn't have a background in like art and stuff, so they're kind of clueless, but they can see with their eyes that maybe something's wrong, like something feels off, and you can both work together to try to pinpoint what exactly about the, you know, the whole image or composition, anything, what is the thing that's making it feel off. And then once you locate it, you can either keep brainstorming, like, okay, why, and okay, how do we fix it, or you can approach someone who is like, you know, more experienced to be like, okay, hi, I think this part has a problem, how can I fix it? That is good constructive criticism. I feel like a lot of people forget the constructive part and they only rely on the criticism part. criticism, anybody can be a critic. Anyone can be like, oh, it's too salty. Oh, this thing, it's too bright. Oh, this I don't like the face. Oh, it's too ugly. Blah 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 blah. Too symmetrical. Yeah, anyone can, you know, come up with something to say, but you're not looking for comments. I mean, you're not looking for comments to. You don't look towards random comments of people's opinions to help build you up. You need to look for the people who are there with the building materials ready to go, like, hey, okay, I see you have problem with like the faces. Your faces seem like the faces you draw seem to be too narrow or too long. Maybe here are some images that you can try to look at, like maybe about this length or whatever. I think that's what's making the face look a bit off. But otherwise, you know, great job, and I think I look forward to your future works and stuff. Everyone has different reasons to start drawing or do any hobby of sorts, any art, whatever you do, any activity. Everybody has different reasons. But it's still like, it's still never okay to just tear someone down. Support people if you can. You don't it's not like you're obligated to help everybody you see, but if you can and if you're willing to, then, you know, put in the effort. Don't just half-ass it. Don't be like, oh, you know, the face is kind of weird, okay, goodbye, kind of for you to deal with. Or like, oh, you know, the faces you draw are weird, get better.
Sorry.
If you take the time to try to help someone, put in the effort. Don't lead them on. Don't be like, hey, I've got something for you, and they're like, oh yeah, what is this magical tip that I can use? And you're like, get better, noob. I've always had this I don't know what you call it, model opinion, I don't know, this saying that I believe for like the art community, because some people are just really like, some people, yeah, they got the message, and some of them, no, they feel everyone is a rival in the bad way. Like communities, like not just art, just anything, we all rely on each other. We're not trying to be the best of the best of the best. We're trying to be the best that we can be and help others be the best that they can be. And that's the point. We're not trying to beat everybody else down so we stand out amongst everybody else. We want our community to flourish, because, you know, every day people are being born. Every day there's like new people who are gonna join the generation, and they're gonna push on the community. And putting them down and killing them at the root, at the bud of their growing passion, is not going to help the community as a whole, or help them, or help anyone. Everything that we've progressed to is because of community. So we have to support every piece of it. Hello, leg. Water. But yes, don't forget to drink water. And also don't forget to save, right? You should save. Good rivalry is good, of course. Rivalry as in like, oh yeah, you know, let's see how far we can go, blah blah blah. Friendly rivals is fine. yeah, just don't be like, oh, that person's more popular than me. Well, I have to outdo them, and I'm gonna just see them purely as something I have to take down, or I have to beat and leave in the dust and make them feel, haha, you know, I beat you. What you gonna do now? Drink water, leg. Do it. Oh, Kevin, no. Okay, hello, Steven. Just go punch it, I guess. I don't know. Is it ice type? Probably. Yeah, I'm just doing the grinding. Well, leg. The gym leader is an ice type leader, so unless you have a saving often. Oh no. Yeah, remember to save, remember to save. Yeah, we try. I was like, oh yeah, you know, Norris will be fine. He'll just flamethrower every steel type in the steel gym, and then he died on the first, on the gym leader's first one, and almost everybody got wiped until Steven managed to like beat. So no, we are not taking the chances. Even so, Steven and Norris are not of a decent level, so we need to get everybody up to par. Again, I love how Snover's cry is just like the sound you make when you suck on a straw and when you're squeezing it. Okay, can someone explain to me again the logic of, oh, water is strong against ice, or like, oh, ice is weak against water? Like, what? What do you mean? Ice literally freezes water. What are you talking about? Byron has yeah, I mean, if their logic is like, oh, ice is weak to water. I was so frustrated when I learned that. No, it's not. Ice is not strong against water in this game. It is not. Yeah, I wish it was, but it unfortunately is not. Speaking of which, I desire more ice water. Maybe I'll refill later. Yeah, fighting beats ice, but close combat from Steven lowers his special and normal physical defense, which, you know, means that ice moves are more likely to destroy him and take him and his beautiful fighting moves away from the battle, leaving the rest to die. You know what? Why don't you make him attack then? Yeah. I mean, then again, if we can't, like, if fairies is more like a magical aspect, you can kind of see like how like magic could like outdo the brutish physical prowess of a dragon. It's like how psychics are good against fighting, I guess. That's the kind of logic. That's always been my understanding of the whole thing. It's like because they have like magic, you know. Magic beats gigantic lizards. Yeah, well, isn't like quite a lot of stuff ineffective against fairy? Like fire, water, dark. Yeah, I mean, yeah, fairy is like pretty resistant to like quite a lot of stuff, isn't it? It's like resistant to dark and psychic and blah 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 blah. Only poison. That I know of, like poison and steel, I think. Like, I mean, yeah, a bullet, a steel bullet definitely will, yeah. It'll do the job. I don't get why people, like, were so hyped in, I forget which game. They were so hyped for there to be a new typing. Because honestly, I mean, maybe because I've only played the old games, I've never been able to play like the newer games where fairy was, you know, a thing. I didn't really learn, I only recently kind of learned, and I still struggle with like the whole fairy thing. So it was just a big hassle to learn it all. I don't know why everybody's like, oh yeah, new typing. I'm like, no, please. We have enough. I don't need to learn anymore, please. Oh yeah, the Denny's a fairy. Love it. I mean, like, look, man, all I know is that when I was playing, what's it called? The Pokemon Unbound, the fan game. Look, all I know is that when I played that and they had fairy types, I was completely lost. I was like, how do I take this thing down? Fire isn't doing it, electricity isn't doing it, fighting dark is not working. What do I do to take this thing down? And yeah, and Pixelmon too, I'm like, oh, a Clefairy, easy, easy XP. And then I proceeded to be like, how do I, what? It was, I don't know, man, I'm kind of scared of fairies too. Maybe I'm a dragon because I'm terrified. I'm like, I don't know how to beat you. Wait. I'm just kind of sad that Mega Evolutions was kind of thrown to the wind. Like, it was one of the, like, the better gimmicks. Bug... That's back. So anyway, Frogmon. Yeah, the frog region. Woohoo. At that point, can I just rename it to Frogmon?
Frogmon, gotta get
and can I just make my own types? At that point, because like it's just everything is frog. I don't.
Next thing you may know, Mrs. Applechild may end up becoming the CEO of Pokemon.
Yeah, no, no, that's not how it works. Mega Evolve Leaf. Oh, that would be interesting. If Leaf was a... Frogmon fan game. Yes, my brother is sitting across me. I feel like after we reach a certain point, it's gonna be very hard to keep going with the frog theme. So I may open it up to like all amphibians, but for now, frog. I mean, yeah, the frogs can be mixed with other things, like how I mixed, like how I based the fire type one on the fire frog, which is actually a fossil for like a salamander thing. So, you know, it's just like you can mix it in, just the core thing, you have to look at it and be like, oh yeah, frog, you know. Let me put it. No, no, no. Ooh, a mix of frog and accent. That's a good idea. Yeah, I did put in the server, like, if you have any ideas for like a frogmon, just tell me, because I look, man, 150 is a big it's a big some big shoes to fill. So like, if you have an idea, just tell me and I would see what I can do. You probably want to like send it to me in like either in the server and just tag me, or you can DM it to me, because I will probably forget if you just say it here. Mudkip is not a frog. Like we just, oh yeah, you weren't here for it. We just had a talk about comparing stuff. We just had a good you can watch after the stream ends, I guess. I don't know. Oh, I just realized Kevin's. We just had a talk that it's not good to say something looks like another thing, or it's just a rip-off of something. Frog kip. Mud skippers are awesome. They're so cool. Have you seen it when the male like mud skippers fight? It's so funny. They just flop around, they slap each other. They try to. It's really funny. Leek, that's a very long chin you have. Why do you have such a long chin? Infinite chin. Yeah, changing topics is a very reoccurring theme here. And so is drinking water.
Nice water.
Water. Oh. I mean, like, with the whole, when I did the making one of my stickman characters as a dragon, that was a fun thing. I might, like, leave as a mega evolution. That sounds kind of interesting. It's like in that kind of realm. Potential new poll for a mega evolution stickman character? Maybe? Oh, I accidentally clicked. But yeah, my my productivity for like my personal art is definitely gonna tank, and has tanked in a way, like tanked in like the rate that it gets produced because of school, and it's probably only going to get even more as stuff piles up. There is literally no losing in the poll. What are you talking about? Well, I mean, if you don't want to partake in the poll, that's fine, because anybody else can. Yeah, but I think the idea was not of who makes more sense as a dragon, it's just who do you want to see as a dragon. who just a random thing to try. Yeah. well, you can draw a moss dragon, and we can see. Well, he's not really. It's not really moss. He just like if he was a dragon, he'd just be a kelpie dragon, which would be cool. But it's not really moss. It's more kelp, like kelpie, maybe some moss, but like mostly kelp, mostly jelp. I remember when there was like the final like 3, 4, and I was like, okay, I have to go to bed before the poll ends anyway. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go to bed. And I saw like the top 3, I think, and I was like, okay. And so when I was in bed, I was just imagining in my brain, like, okay, if I was like, okay, if Haman won, what would a Haman dragon look like? And I just tried to come up with like a vague idea, and I did that with all of the top 3, and then Dioru was the one who won. So I was like, okay, good thing I had a idea for Dioru, because I wanted to finish it by, you know, August, because it like the smallest thing. And yeah, that was the last day of August, so got a speed run. I have to catch up this thing. Yeah, okay, something you probably have to know when you get into the whole rabbit hole that is my characters. I have a lot, and I don't mean that as an understatement. I mean a lot, as in probably hitting the 200 mark. Okay, I mean maybe if in stickmen alone, maybe less than that, but like it's still a lot. So, but the thing about like the stories and stuff, they're kind of like all over the place. So like if you have like any questions about like a character story, or like want to know, you can just ask me in like the server. I will happily just like help recount the stories or whatever. Yeah. Or bring it up on stream and I will fumble to say it. I would just say it, I guess. Yeah. So yeah, just if you wanna like know about anything about certain characters, just ask. I'm glad y'all enjoyed the Dioru dragon. I mean, Dioru, it helped that he already had like his horrid form that I've doodled before, so it kind of just like carried a bit of that stuff. You probably need more than a whole day to go through all of it. Honestly, or you know, you could like ask League. I guess he hears me ramble about my stuff a lot, so go bother him in DM. Go consult him. Test him. Pop quiz. Well, I mean, they date back, and not all of them are like recent. Some of them are like from my childhood or whatever, that I do not really use, but I used back then in like little stories that I wrote with my friend in like, well, not sketchbooks, but they're not like full sketch, just lined booklets, I guess, little lined books. Yeah. Like I said, I was a writer before I was a animator. Well, I guess I don't animate as much now, but like, I I wrote way more back then, okay? I wrote way more than I do now. Sedge. Still have to continue writing the rewrite. Oh yeah, I forgot to cross off my list. Okay. Duel this dude's art is done. Next is Iveska's character card. Ooh. And then after that we'll be sketching the next card, and whenever I can, finishing the Dazer Doodle episode thing. Then finally, hopefully, continue working on Duel 4 storyboard. Rewrite, yeah. So back then I wrote a bunch of books about Leaf and her story and like the story of their world, blah 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 blah. Made like 10 books. You know, they were made like back then, and I didn't plot a lot. I was what do you call it, improv writer. I liked improv writing, so that was what most of it was. But now that the story is more solidified, it helps to go back and, you know, clean up and rewrite certain things so that it's less like fumbly and more solid. So I have it's in the links channel in my server. You can see the current chapters of the rewrite there. And I would recommend, like, if you find it on like a different site, I would recommend you keep like when I write the story more, when it hits like the later, like I guess later books or whatever, you probably wanna keep the doc, stay on the Google Doc, because in the old books there are certain characters that can see through the fourth wall, and you as the reader can interact. So that is where I would do the thing. So you probably have to, yeah, can't spell or describe things. Yeah, I really liked writing back then, but I wish I could write more. I wish. They were good times. Writing was a good outlet. Now I rely more on drawing. But like, it was fun. And I hope to like get better, get unrusty and get better at it again. Yeah, whenever I'm like posting the Atlan region related stuff, I'm like, man, Hollow's probably gonna miss out on this, isn't he? Ain't they gonna miss out on it? Hello, Brim. Oh, it's 11:30 already. Oh my goodness, time does swiftly pass. Well, we have like 10 minutes left and we've just grinded. Yeah. I honestly forget what made me like, I think and the animations dragged me away from writing. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that the duels were what dragged me away from writing. It just took so much time. Like, me and, like, my name, Apple Charm Star Horse, like, it literally comes from the first book me and my friend wrote together. I mean, it's incomplete and we have, like, multiple drafts. We're still changing it, but, like, yep, my name is literally representing my journey as a writer. And I think, even though I don't, like, you know, write like actual like bunch of words as much as I did before. I'm still a writer, as in the sense that I write stories, like for my characters and stuff. It's just put into different mediums like art, rare animations, animatics, actual writing. Yeah. But you know, it's not that bad. I've been able to. I mean, I got like what 15, 14. I don't know, around there number of chapters on the rewrite, and each chapter I try to hit 2,000 words, which was way more than back then. Back then, I think my goal was just 600 words because you know, noob. But yeah. It sucks, but if you really want it, I think you can find ways to at least touch into a few until you know you reach a part like when you know school is over and you find something that you can have better time slots and stuff for you to balance out everything. Yeah, online schooling is so much tougher. Yeah. All the best. All the best to all of us who are in school or just doing, you know, anything. All the best. If I could still draw like a hefty amount of art, if I could still draw over 800 art in my IB year, I think there is hope for us all. Like, I remember when my exams was arriving, I was like, okay, I need to ban myself from using my tablet. I will put my tablet at home and I will not use it. I will this will allow me to not be easily distracted, and I can focus on my exams. And you know what I did? You know what I did? Yeah, I wrote more. I just wrote more, and I drew on my touchpad on my laptop. It took like 4 times longer, but I made like I explored different stuff, but like that's really funny. All I can say is love finds a way. If you want something, you will find a way to it. Yeah, we have like you know, since I started, I think I'll end it at like 11:45 instead. Just extend it a little bit. Yeah, like what can I say? See you around. I mean, of course, I did do it in moderation. I didn't just like throw my studies to the wind and just on hours on end. I did make sure that I had my stuff in order first. I mean, like, you know, if I did have a little bit of free time and I did eat my lunch fast, so I have like that bit of free time and it's too little time to like study, you know, why not just draw a weird 4-legged bird on steroids? Yeah. See you around. I think I said this in like my first or second stream or whatever, don't remember, about the whole like getting off your butt and doing something. Like yeah. It's about commitment, not motivation. Don't rely on motivation. Yeah. Be like a vulture. Be opportunistic when you see the opportunity strike. It feels bad, and like it sucks when you have to like only work a little bit on what you love and then say goodbye to your beloved for a week while you deal with school. But as long as you know, okay, every week if I don't have like, if I finish everything within the week, you know, I can try to aim to like work on this thing every like weekend. That like little commitment gives you hope. Human emotions are fleeting, and motivation is kind of like one of them. So you don't rely on it. You use it, you exploit it when it comes around, but you don't rely on it. It's like you might feel really good and you do kind stuff, but then when you feel really bad, you don't just take it out and be a jerk to everyone. You gotta commit to being, you know, not a jackass. Well, I don't know your situation fully, but I do know that I felt that way before in various places, and all I can say is things can always turn out differently from you expect or believe. And I wish you the very best in finding enough time for what you love. Having a nice, healthy balance. Like for my dual, I remember like a certain like I think even my RHGs and stuff, I still had school and stuff. But I would work on it little by little. Like I remember for when I think RHG 1-3 was it? I animated on the bus on the way to school because my bus was like 40 minutes. So I just did it on the bus. I just did it on the bus to and from school. I was a vulture. I took opportunity, and then I was like, okay, and then if I finish all my work on time, I can give 2 glorious hours on the week, on like Saturday, to working on it more. And the same with like some of my duels. Like I didn't touch on it until like that 2 hours on like the weekend. Sometimes it was less, sometimes it was more. But, you know, just be vultures, just opportunistic. If you can do a bit more, then, you know, take it. If you can only do a little bit, that's fine. But, like, it helps boost your morale, I guess, when you have like, okay, at least every week I'm making some sort of small progress. I mean, definitely I will still have to see with my uni and stuff, but once my storyboard is done, I definitely will try to start. I already finished the intro 1. I haven't done intro 2. Because again, like, I mean, for this one I want to try some stuff, so it's gonna be a bit difficult, especially because it's in Flip a Clip. But yeah, I want to try out some new stuff, so yeah. Perseverance. Yep. Persevere. It may feel like it's just an endless slog and you never get the time, but the future is always changing. So live, don't give up. Be a I'm gonna repeat it again and again. Be a vulture, be an opportunistic feeder. Don't circle the skies like, oh, I'm not gonna find a meal. Just keep your eyes peeled. It sucks, you're hungry for that sweet, sweet animation time. But yeah, just circle overhead every day. And when you see opportunity, snag a piece. Your works tell me that you've definitely put in quite some time and effort into honing your skills and stuff. And if you've managed to get this far in such like a short amount of time, I really believe that you can do it. And it's 11:45. Well, let's see what we did. Gavin is level 50. Norris, yeah, I mean, wait, who's supposed to be here? Honestly, I think probably would be good to just use Fogno as a little sacrifice if we need to. But yeah, everybody's pretty close to level 50, which would be good. No, do not assume. No. I am not Technoblade. I do not have a major in English and speak good stuff that is like, I don't know, like really plot like ooh. No. I don't know, man, a lot of people hate my similes and metaphors. A lot of people in my life are like, just shut up, man. I'm like, I'm sorry. You won, you asked, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'll ramble. Well, this is the end. I will leave Adrian to stand here and freeze for another week. Thanks for watching. I'm glad it helped you. Good luck to everyone here. Y'all in school. And just anywhere you are in everything, just the best of luck. Persevere, man. Be vultures. Be my vulture. Just gonna be a trend here with my birds and stuff. Be vultures. Be opportunistic hunters. Yeah. I mean, of course, yeah, I don't know when we can, like, if next week we can do this, we'll have to see with uni and stuff. But yeah, if I cannot make it, then I will put it on Twitter. So yeah, we can see you guys on Discord. And have a nice morning, even night. Goodbye. Goodbye. Drink water.